I wonder why my square is so long. Is it long in yours? Like,
You're rotated that way. You must have your rotation lock on or something. You're rotated.
Not that that's a bad thing.
Randy's like that too. He knows how to do it. He did it on purpose.
Oh. Switch camera? I guess it doesn't matter.
And then if you tap your screen and switch. And then camera, tap your screen again. And then click on the video camera. Right. There you go.
Everybody's sure about moving.
Mary, I think you might have your video off. There we go.
Yeah, how come you're bigger than the rest of us, Randy?
On your left-hand side, Larry, there should be something that says grid view. If you click on that, it should a Brady Bunch.
Oh, switch to gallery view? Is that what
Yeah.
it's supposed to be on?
Gallery view, sorry, not view.
Oh.
How come I can't see everyone?
So on the left-hand side, there should be something, a circle, and it should say gallery view in it. If you click on that, everyone should go in their own little circle square.
I see everyone except Larry.
Oh, Larry's here.
Up the top
Really?
corner.
Anne Marie's in my top corner beside me,
Yeah.
not in everyone else's.
No, you're in the middle on me.
Oh, interesting.
Amy, how many squares are on your screen?
8.
Should be 9.
There should be 9, yeah.
Isn't that odd?
You're probably sick of me anyway, so why would
Yeah,
you care?
I don't need to see Larry. I can hear Larry.
That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay.
Okay.
Okay, is everybody okay?
Yeah, I gotta get another plate.
Another plate. He's gone for lunch.
He's changing his elevation.
Have trouble talking with your mouth full.
Ah, there you go.
Now I
Got your
see
foot-
Larry.
got-
I just have to swipe, but I can only get 8. Like
Who are you missing?
Larry, unless I swipe, then I can see Larry.
Okay.
You might have to do
Right.
turn your tablet.
Oh, so my tablet is,
Get
Okay,
up
I'll
and
try.
down. I switch mine back around.
there we
Oh,
go.
you gotta put your tablet sideways.
Randy, you're so savvy.
I
Oh.
know.
What would we do without you, Ray?
There you
You'd find
all
something.
are.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna make our first attempt at this, I guess. So we'll call this meeting to order. Could I have any additions to the agenda? Seeing none. Could I have approval of the agenda, please? Gary, Randy, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Declaration of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Seeing none. Adoption of minutes, council meeting of April 1st, 2020. And adopt the minutes, please. So somebody showed it. Amy, Larry, all in favor?
I will, too.
You okay, Randy? You're gonna have to show me
Yeah,
some body
there was
signs there.
what correction on page 2 that I had sent
What's
into
that like?
Amanda. There was a correction on page 2 that Amanda fixed on the planning matters. It only said B1720. It needed to be added B1820 as well. Just on the severance we did last.
You get that, Amanda?
She got it as an email. Yeah, she said she had corrected, but I just wanted to voice that it was corrected on there.
Okay. Adopt the minutes with that amendment.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Larry, Carrie, nodding their head there. All in favor of that? Carried. Statutory public meetings, there's none. Planning matters, we have none. We have no presentations and delegations. Staff reports, clerk of planning coordinator. Amanda, I will turn it over to you, dear.
Okay, so it's been a long time coming, but the strategic plan is included in my report. If anyone has any suggestions or changes to that.
Nope.
Comments, Amy?
Yes. On page 3, at the top, under the municipality conducted a public survey, can we get rid of 2? Just put this survey was conducted to find out what residents consider important.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I wondered on page 4, under when it says the first line, the township of Madoc is a unified rural community that embraces change. If we could put positive change or innovation and diversity, like not just change, not just any
I could
change.
put embraces positive, diverse changes.
Something like that. Sure, if everyone's in agreement.
Good
And
thoughts.
then when you get to page 6 and 7 with the goals, actions, timelines, and resources required, under school bursaries, and we put like school bursaries and education as like the heading, and on the resources required, put bursary amounts, budget, and I don't know what you would want to put, like the cannabis fund. Like we could use, Carrie had a great idea. We could use the cannabis fund, whether the health unit could go into the schools and talk about cannabis or something. So just, so that would be under education for the schools.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That was Carrie's idea.
Yeah, I like that idea Carrie had this morning about that.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a place that we could use some of that money and show that we are promoting education in our municipality.
Yeah, good.
And then just one more thing maybe to add under the next section, under the resources required. When we talk about funding opportunities and continuing to look at partnerships, if we could add neighboring municipalities and local organizations under resources required. Other than that, I was so happy how the strategic plan turned out. Thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
Amy
sorry.
or Amanda,
Yes,
good job.
Wonderful.
thank you.
Oh,
Amy
good job.
was a lot of help on this too. Sorry, you said look into partnerships with neighboring municipalities
And organizations.
okay.
So
Good.
Amanda,
Yes,
will this then, will you now, once we do, are we gonna pass this tonight then?
if you're all in agreement
so-
with it.
Yeah, so once we do that, will it go on the website on its own?
Yep.
Okay. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while coming, but everyone that did the survey, it's probably good for them to see what we did with it.
Well, I've had a couple of questions from a couple of people that said, you said we'd have that rolled and you haven't done nothing.
Well, now it's.
I'll be glad to see it.
Okay, everybody okay with that changes?
Yeah.
Pretty good. That's some good work, folks. Thank you. So you need a motion to approve that with those amendments?
Yes,
Amanda?
please. Yep,
Could I have
Amy.
Amy? Carrie? All in favor? Carried. Once again, that's a nice one to have put to bed, folks. Good work. Next,
So the commissioners, Norm, who's the chair of that committee, he has talked to the commissioners and worked out our final contract. I should be getting a copy of it soon. They're going to start, I believe, the beginning of May. It was supposed to be the middle of April, but with everything going on, they've been really busy. So they're going to start the beginning of May, which will be great because we have some stuff that bylaw needs to look at. And then my next thing is we get a letter every year from the same people. They do a practical skills camp out. They teach each other how to can and garden and all that kind of stuff. They always ask us for permission because it's a large group of people. Now, we don't think that they're going to be able to do this year because of all the distancing rules around COVID, but they just wanted the approval from council if the event can happen.
Yeah, I don't have a
Make mo-
problem with that. Sure, I'd approve.
Make motion.
Randy?
Randy, Larry, all in favor? Carried. Let's hope they can move on.
Hopefully they get more people for this every year, so they seem to do a good job
Yeah.
with it.
They do.
And then I just need a motion to approve my report, please. Carrie.
Carried. Larry, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. We are moving on to treasurer administrator. Anne Marie.
Okay, so during this time of uncertainty in relation to COVID-19 pandemic, should council consider holding one meeting a month on a temporary basis? Any thoughts?
Thoughts, concerns?
I'd leave that up to the mayor to decide what he likes. I have no concern.
Well,
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
no, that's quite all right. No, I've given this one some thought. With what really is going on here in the way our world's revolving around us, and we are coming into a very busy time of season for our roads and for everything to get set up. We have a lot of work to do and meetings to have with Queensborough Road. Actually, Anne Marie, I'm almost the opposite on that, where things are changing so fast around us now. In order for us to keep on top of things, I personally would like things to stay the same.
Okay,
Okay.
Everybody's okay with that?
Yep.
yeah, it was just something I thought that maybe we might want to consider.
Yeah, well, if this what we're doing tonight works, and from what I've seen so far, it's working okay.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very keen for us to really be able to stay on top of things as we move through this thing and hopefully put it behind us. So,
Okay,
okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
We don't have another meeting for
Um,
3 weeks anyway, eh?
our
No.
next meeting is May the 6th.
Yeah.
Okay, next, Emery, please.
Gord Lever, our bylaw officer, is in self-isolation with family concern. So at this point in time, he is only available by phone and or email. He has a contract with us until May the 14th. He will work with the commissioners on getting them up to date on any outstanding items that Gord has.
Okay, if I may, Carrie, is it possible in a circumstances like this where we're basically without here for a little bit? Is it possible, or is it within our right to delegate that authority as a bylaw officer?
Yeah. Like, who delegate it to who? Like, just, what do you mean?
And on my picture, he's in the bottom left-hand screen.
I don't, but probably not.
Jason's giving me the even.
Because it'd be
you're giving me
Randy.
the
It's
evil eye
Randy?
here, but- I mean, no, Jason, our fire chief.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you could put anybody as the bylaw officer, you just have to throw a bylaw in place, right?
Yeah, well,
Jason, you look
Larry, go
stoked.
ahead.
Yeah, okay, I agree with, Mayor Blackburn. We have a couple of issues that have been brought to my attention. I mentioned one to you, Lloyd, a week ago. I think Randy was there. Another one has come, I'm not sure why these things come the way they do, but there's an issue in Bannockburn that I think needs addressed on Bannockburn Road. That's a catastrophe waiting for somebody to really, and there's neighbors across the road, not very far, where if you had a fire, like my good God, there, and it was in 3 o'clock in the morning, the wind was out of the south, the neighbors across the road have a problem. So I do believe that the right person that you have mentioned here should be the person that does this, simply because he knows the rules around fire and all that. There's another one on Cooper Road that I talked to you about, Mayor Blackburn and Randy. And it needs addressed also. And I don't know if this is appropriate place to say that, because it would mean I don't have a 911 number. And I'm not going to say whose name it is. But there are those 2 locations and they're both fire hazards.
Yeah, well, I think,
Okay, So I do agree with what you're saying, and if we don't have a bylaw officer, then we should pay Jason appropriately to go out and do that as a bylaw officer, I would say.
Carrie, did you have something else to add to that?
No,
Carrie, were you waving to me there?
I was trying to put my audio back on.
Okay,
No, I mean,
yeah.
as long as you put the bylaw in place, it's fine. He can do it. Anybody could do it.
Okay, well, yeah, well, you probably know as well as anybody here, this time of year, a lot of property standards seem to jump out. And I think that's the key one. Jason was called upon here a week or two ago, but I called him to deal with an issue of a trailer parked in an unpleasant spot that he had to go deal with, but it sort of puts him, without him being named and delegated with the delegated authority, it kind of puts him in a tight spot. So this is where this come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason,
I agree, Lloyd. You're right. And
Jason, you have time to do that?
Right now, I would say it's okay, but I do have concerns, if I get called back to the college at any point, then that's gonna red flag me for sure, right? But
This
I
is
would
only.
need
until we
copies
get
of the property standards and stuff.
Larry?
yeah, this will only be until the commissioners group take over, which is like a month or so. So we're only talking, Jason, about maybe 3 weeks
Okay.
or a month. Is that not right, Amanda? Yeah, 3 weeks to a month.
I guess, yeah, so the other concern is just how much, like, if I get some stuff started, is it just gonna fall onto the commissioner's lap then when they take over? Is that how, because I mean, let's face it, everything, some things happen overnight, but not all, of
Yep.
course. Okay,
I would say yes.
and the ones
That's
that are
what we'll have
family
to do.
related, sorry, the ones that are family related, do we leave those until commissioners take place, or
Well, I would say
Yes.
so.
just save
Oh,
some
yeah.
anguish, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
A lot of head nodding going on there. Okay. So I guess we'd need a motion to do that then if that's okay. Okay, Carrie? Carrie moves, we put Jason in. Second? Randy? All in favor of that?
I'll do a bylaw for the next meeting.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay, Anne Marie next.
That's
Wait,
all I
wait.
have. So just accept my
Won't that
report.
be after? Won't the bylaw be in place after the commissioners start? Don't they
Yeah.
start the first part of May?
Yeah, but do I not need to do a bylaw to delegate authority right now to Jason?
But don't you have to have the bylaw approved at council?
Well, I would take it to the next council meeting, although I guess it'll be over by then, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I thought we just
Okay.
did that.
So
That's
I
what we're
guess
doing.
We might be SOL.
Yeah, okay. Just a motion will do then, I guess.
I would think a motion to do, yeah. We're only covering it off for 3 weeks. We don't need to enact the bylaw for 3 weeks.
Okay, yeah. If it's not working, we'll work under everything under fire safety.
Yeah.
Can I have a motion to accept? Would that work, Carrie? Amanda? We just approach everything under fire safety. If it's a problem.
Cool.
Okay. So I have a motion to accept Anne Marie's report, please. Larry, Amy, all in favor? Carried. Okay, working roads. Mike, you're up.
There. All right. Not much in my road report. Just stating the stuff that we're doing. Regular spring maintenance to all the equipment. Regular services to keep everything to what they need to be done, oil changes, greases, stuff like that, right? Continuing our spring grading. On that note, drains, I got a hold of drains this afternoon. They called me back. Doug or Dan did from drains, and they will have our other grader here Friday around lunchtime. And other than that, just continuing cold patch and hard tops, right? And that's all I have. Any questions or?
Larry?
Mr. Chair. Yeah, I left you a voicemail. Did you get it, Mike?
Yes, I did. Yep. And I'm
So-
gonna look into that. We're looking, the guys were going around today. We didn't make it
Okay.
quite that far north, but I'll be looking into it first thing in the morning.
Okay, yeah, because we have had that, we've lost that road and spent some money in it 3 or 4 times over the last 10 years.
Yep.
And if we get another rain like yesterday, the water's gonna be up over that road again because that lake is backed right up for miles.
Yeah, are you talking about the one down on the hollow there?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
in between
well,
the two? Okay,
That's the
yep,
one.
yep,
Yeah.
okay.
And it's about 5, there's no water going through the culvert. It's about 5 inches from the top of the road right now.
Yeah, the only thing we can do there is ask the landowner
Yeah.
to lower his water again, right?
I would ask more tell than ask.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep.
I would tell to
What road are you
lower
talking?
or,
Island Road.
Okay.
okay. As long as it's looked after and we don't have to put gravel in there like we did 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
Anything else more for Mike?
Nope.
Okay, motion to accept Mike's report, please. Larry, Amy, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Fire chief, moving on to you, Jason.
So yeah, just, I guess on my note, wasn't sure if I should have, when you asked about any additions to the agenda, but I did receive a complaint today about a residence on McCann Crescent, so I will have to do some follow-up on that. But I just wanted to make sure that you are aware. Probably gonna be a little bit time involved with that one. Looks to be like I'm not quite sure of this province of why they're allowing these legal grow operations to happen around houses or in houses for that matter. But we do have an issue at that residence, and so I will be making an appearance there tomorrow just to do a fire inspection and then probably writing some orders after that. But just so everybody is aware, there is a supposedly legal grow op at 5 McCann Crescent with a license of 325 plants inside and 80 plants outside. Checking with OPP, it is legal. They do have a license, but they already, so the complaint come through to me because they've already melted the meter off the outside of the house. It was overloaded the circuit and melted it right off. Hydro's been there, and I believe they've shut the power off to the residents, to my knowledge. But now they're running a generator in the backyard with gas cans and everything stored right up against the house. And the moisture is running right down the windows. So again, I'll be paying them a visit tomorrow, and it is an addition to my report because as of this morning, I just received that call after our meeting today. So just to give you the heads up. Yep, go ahead, sorry.
I'm just in the middle of drafting a letter for them too, because they're not zoned properly to have a grow up. I don't know if you want to take that with you or if you want me to send it separately.
I can, if you have it ready, I can take it with me. It's not a problem. Again, I don't know, our province allowing this stuff to happen, it's really throwing our hands up in the air. OPP can't do anything with it because they have their licenses, so there's nothing to them. But for me, on the fire side, it's obviously a threat, you know, to the dwelling and to their safety themselves. They're living there, so.
If you, if you live down around Grafton, there are dozens of them. Living
Inside the houses though, or inside greenhouses? Yeah.
everywhere.
Is it a medical license that they have? Then
I
yeah,
think for
there's
them-
nothing we can do.
For themselves.
I'm wondering, yeah, so there's nothing we can do about even zoning. If it's medical, we can't do anything. And the only other thing, I bet you there's probably gonna be structural issues inside. If they're growing that many, they've probably done stuff structurally to the house.
Yeah, I think they recently just took it over. I don't know how long they've owned this property, but I do know, like, under the safety, obviously electrical, right? I mean, if they've got stuff tampered with, then obviously we can do some orders on that, right? But I thought under the zoning, I know it's medical and you're allowed, but I thought under the zoning, a residential property is just a residential. It can't be zoned for that big of a grow up, no? Or
If it's just,
So
I'm not sure.
yeah.
our
I thought
bylaw-
medical we couldn't touch at all. Like I thought medical we could not touch.
Yeah, I think you're right, Carrie. Our bylaw is has to be zoned industrial, but that's if they're growing it in a greenhouse for retail.
Commercial,
Like
yeah,
not-
commercial or retail.
Yeah, not for medical use. I didn't realize they had a medical license.
There is a license in the window, apparently, according to OPP. There is a license there, so there's not much they can do on their end. I just know that through the fire side, obviously, you know, the wiring and everything is obviously where I can zone them. I know the same with past experience in Cooper there, you know, that's how we were able to shut that one down as well, just because they had, you know, went out and beyond and rewired everything, and it was a fire hazard, so.
Okay, just be careful, Jay.
Yeah, I'll probably request keep the peace with OPP to attend the residents with me, just to be on the safe side. The other problem I have heard is that they don't speak in a word of English, so I don't know how the communication is going to work. But anyways, I'll go and see if I can have a look, and then we'll cross that bridge when we have to. So
There's some pretty good Google translation apps I've used when dealing with people on cannabis properties.
you know,
Believe
what
it or
you're looking at.
not.
You know what you're looking at, right? So yeah, so other than that, I mean, it's just on with the report. I don't really feel I need to read word for word, but if there was any questions regarding my report.
Any questions on Jason's report, Larry?
No, it's a good report. I have no question.
I
Motion to
had a
receive.
comment, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I wondered if, Jason, on 9.4.6, it says concerned with people who are out of the town coming into the township with no connection to the township. And I think it's when you went on a call to Tudor and Cashel. And there was a COVID-19 patient, or do you want to explain that a little further?
Yeah, I can, sure. So yeah, we did receive a call of a medical emergency of a COVID-19 patient that was generally unwell, come through as an MVC, that he had his vehicle in the ditch. So at that point, we didn't know if he had passed out, if extrication was required, what all the extent was. Meeting with paramedics at the end of the road. They had notified us that they were alert and that they were COVID positive and that use all precautions. So I decided when we're talking about the road, it's a hunting camp road. It's not a passable road. So I took my truck up to investigate just as to what was going on, and then it ended up they had like a 2015 Toyota Corolla car up this bush road basically, and we're stuck right in the middle of the road. He did notify me when I arrived on scene that he was a COVID patient and that he worked for a hospital in downtown Toronto, which also red flagged me. So he was attempting to get out. I basically just told him to stay in his car as nicely as I could, and I handed him some masks for him, and he had a the second person was in the vehicle with him. I just made the decision to just give them the mask, tell them stay in the car, pull their vehicle out, and allow them to drive their way out of the road so that we weren't getting any contact or any cross contamination for our crew. I had one truck, 4-wheel drive pickup in front, and I had my pickup in the back to assure that they could make it all the way out. And that's the extent. Now, the bad part is they chose to drive themselves to Bancroft Hospital, which there in turn, we put more people at risk by taking that patient from there all the way up to their hospital, right? So anyways, that was a choice by the paramedics, not the fire crew. So but that's the extent. So I'm not sure. I know we had spoke about a letter, maybe sending a letter to our premier or to Doug Ford or whoever, just kind of posting or boasting about our concerns of the COVID people that are traveling around. I did try to make attempt to have OPP charge the people for, obviously bringing it to our area. And the sergeant at that time advised me that at this time they're just doing an educational, they're not laying fines in our area. So
Randy?
I would like a letter penned to the premier and the deputy premier, our MP, the MPP, stating like what a burden it is to rural municipalities to have, these COVID patients or even people coming in and using rural resources. I don't know what other people think.
Randy?
Did they, through, I don't know what government, did they not pass the regulation or law for the cottagers to stay away from their cottages? If that was the case, is that something we can do through the bylaw part of it?
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Randy's right. The Emergency Act says that they are not to be here. I don't know what more you can do. The Doug Ford has been on TV telling people stay away from your cottages. However, nobody listens because all the cottages that are in the area, gentleman that owns the IGA, a gentleman, I'll say, told me there's all kinds of people in their cottages in Moira Lake. So I'm not sure what you do, but I guess a letter written to somebody is not going to do any harm. But good luck.
yeah, I think the biggest concern for myself, sorry to have to jump in there, but I know the biggest concern for myself is one of the questions or posed there was, do we start laying charges on our end? The bad thing with that is, being they're not residents of Madoc Township, we give them a ticket or we write them a bill that they have to pay. There's really we don't have a collection agency or anything working for us to gather that fund, right? So, I mean, not that we could obviously have one, but right at the present time we don't. And I mean, it's easy for the fire side when it's our own municipality, we can send it back to their taxes, but on this case, it's not ours, right? So.
Eric?
I would defer to Carrie because Carrie, I think right now, Carrie, you can charge people that are too close to each other, can't you, as a bylaw officer?
We can charge, we're letting the OPP charge as much as possible. We're letting them take the lead on it, but we're just out being in patrolling it.
Okay. If Councillor Beaton wants to have a letter sent, I'll be more than happy to second that motion.
Yeah.
All in favor of that? Carried. Anything else, Jace?
Not really, other than item 4 there, as everybody's seen, I did go for that grant. I was hoping to use it for other options there, but looking at the the purpose of the grant, it did specify that it needed to benefit the community as well as persons in use, right? So not that we have any room right now for a ATV or UTV, but it's just trying to get something out of the grant money that makes sense, that helps us, right? So, I mean, there's no guarantee here that we'd receive it or not, but I mean, at least it was filed, so.
Yep. Cool.
Okay. Have a remote, is that it for you then, Jason? Anybody, anything else for Jason?
That's everything for me. Nope.
Larry?
Yeah, as Jason and I talked the other day there. So Jason, as far as our fire committee, quarterly meetings would be fine with you?
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
Okay. I don't see us, personally, I don't see any more than quarterly meetings for what we probably need to get done, and might be a little busy maybe once we start this fire review, but we'll all work together to make sure that all happens and works out okay for
No
everyone.
problem. Yeah, no, sounds good.
Okay, I have a somebody move Jason's report, please.
I will.
Larry, Carrie, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks for that, Jason. Okay, moving on, reports of advisory committees of council. Committee of the whole third budget meeting minutes, approve those minutes, please. Larry, Amy, all in favor? Carried. Okay. Report of statutory committees, boards, and external agencies, none. Moving on to correspondence. We approve or receive and file all of below correspondence, unless somebody has questions. Amy? Questions? Any questions on any of the correspondence?
Sorry. No,
What are your cows loose, Amy?
yeah. I can't find my paper. I'm not good with paper.
Oh, I
Sorry.
heard something bawling, sound like a cow bawling.
No, it was my phone. I didn't shut it off. Sorry.
I thought we were in the barnyard there for a minute too.
Bonnie's Googling this, eh? She's watching all of it.
Okay.
No, I don't think I had any questions with the correspondence.
Have a
Not even the
motion to
direct
receive
payment
and-
one?
Oh, the only thing wasn't there one about volunteering?
Well, there's,
Yes. The Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility Assistant Deputy Minister's Office, encouraging volunteerism to support seniors. Can we send that to Sally Gale, the Executive Director of CHSN, just to make sure she gets it? Because it's about food and accessibility.
Is that a motion?
Yes, please.
Randy, second, all in favor? Carried. Receive and file remaining correspondence? Carried.
sir, may I?
Yes,
Does anybody wanted, the one that we received from the corporation of town of Midland is the fifth one down, regarding the direct payment of funds to municipalities. Is that anything of any concern for anybody? They want to letter that or no, or
Anne Marie, how do you read that?
I read it that Midland wants the federal government to pay all 2020 property taxes for all residents in Ontario. I think that would be an astronomical amount of money.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
Please don't send a letter that crazy to anybody. Please.
Totally unreasonable, I think.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think there's better ways to help us out than this. I think this is just way too much asking the federal government to do this.
Yeah.
Just questioning.
So I have a motion to receive and file the remaining correspondence, please. Carrie,
Randy will.
Randy, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Unfinished business, any? None? No unfinished business? Bylaws. Amanda,
Okay, so we have bylaw 1522-2020, that should say, it says 2019. This is the bylaw to authorize the execution of the documents necessary to complete the sale of lands municipally known as 10 Island Road, owned by the corporation of the township of Madoc.
a first, a
Yay.
second, and a third reading.
Yay, yay, yay.
That's everybody?
Yay, yay, yay.
There you go.
Carried.
Okay. Next is bylaw 1542-2020. And it's a bylaw to authorize the corporation of the township of Madoc to enter into an agreement with the corporation of the municipality of Center Hastings. This is for the landfill agreement.
I see a finger up there.
Yeah.
Gary,
There's a figure in that, there's a dollar figure there. Is that for 5 years, that dollar figure? Talks about so much a tone and it talks about the 5-year contract.
Yeah, so this is
My-
fine.
Okay, my understanding was that it changed from year to year. So is that reflected in the bylaw?
The bylaw just approves the agreement. So if the agreement says that it changes every year, then that's what the bylaw is for.
Okay. But there is a dollar figure that says $159 a ton. That's not for every year. Because it changes.
Yeah,
There is
you're
a
right,
dollar
Larry.
figure.
Pardon me?
Sorry, it does change with cost of living. I think I don't have the agreement in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a paragraph where
I-
it states it changes.
Yeah. So the reason I asked that is because if this is a bylaw and we're saying what we're saying, that's not really true because this changes every year. This is not constant. This $159.
I need the agreement.
And I only say that, Mr. Chair, because in the past, we've had some problems about dollars and cents with our
okay,
with people.
just to give Amanda a minute there.
Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm out to lunch. I don't know.
No, I don't, I think you're right. We gotta be careful how we write these.
Yeah.
So in the agreement, number 1 says the rate for the year 2020. The number 2 paragraph says it shall increase each year at the rate of the annual consumer price index for Ontario for 2021 and continuing for the term of this agreement.
Okay, so I don't have that in front of me, but whenever I read it on the other day on the agenda. And I saw a figure of $159 per ton.
Yes.
And that's fine, but that can't be $159 every year for 5 years because the agreement goes up as we go on.
That's
So-
right.
So then we should not be putting in there what $159 a ton unless we say, unless we put in what the tonnage is for each year of the contract.
Could it read just as per agreement?
It could, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But you have to attach the agreement with the bylaw.
Yeah.
Yes, Amanda has.
Okay, I don't have that stuff in front of me right now, so. It's just that I don't want to see us, I don't want to see us in a place where somebody comes back and says, well, here's your bylaw. It's $159 a ton. And you're paying 165 at year 5. I don't.
Well, the agreement is cost of living each year, starting at the base of 159. So whatever that works out to by the year 2024.
Okay, that's fine, as long as everybody, I'm not arguing anything here. I'm just wanting to make sure that we don't enter into an agreement that maybe I didn't understand it then. But I want to understand it before I say yay, yay, yay.
I think the number 159 in the bylaw is one that confused us, Larry.
Okay,
But
I guess if everybody's happy with it, I don't have a problem.
if it's reading as per agreement and the agreement is attached, then I think we're fine.
Okay, that's fine. Just dotting the i's, checking the t's, folks.
First, second, and third.
Sure. Yay, yay, yay.
Okay. Carried. Okay. I guess now, Amanda, guide me through this. Because we have a closed session, we'll do our, I think we'll do, that's the end of our business. We'll do our confirmatory bylaw. We have to go to YouTube. And then we'll go into closed session.
Yeah, so we'll do the confirmatory, and then YouTube is probably behind us about 30 seconds a minute. So we'll just wait until YouTube gets shut down, and then I'll let you know. I can see it, so I'll let you know when YouTube is done.
Okay, so you do that?
Yeah, so I'll do the
Okay.
confirmatory, then we can adjourn this meeting and go into closed session. Sorry, Anne Marie.
I would like to invite Mike to the closed session if council is okay with that.
Everybody okay?
Yep.
With that? Okay, yes, that's good. Okay, so we'll.
I'll do the confirmatory.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Township of Madoc meeting held on April 15th, 2020.
First, second, and third.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, Carrie. Amy, all in favor? Carrie. Okay, see you in a minute.